Buckeyes Battle Cry here with a take on the AP Top 25 poll. Now, there's some teams that deserve the spot that they got, but like always, there are some extremely overrated teams. And here are the top teams that I have chosen that just don't deserve that spot and may even be out of the top 25 when the season's over, but only time will tell. But coming in at number one is the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, ever since they joined the SEC, it just has been working out. Another thing that has been working out is Coach Brent Venables. Now, he was an extremely successful defensive coordinator from Clemson with coaching genius Dabo Sweeney. But just because you're a successful coordinator, that does not mean it always translates into being a successful head coach. And he has not done anything remotely close for his team, for Oklahoma to deserve a top 25 spot. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, he is on the hot seat. If he does not get it done, I can see the Oklahoma faithful just packing his bags for him and saying goodbye. And just last season was a complete disaster. And you know what? I don't want to hear about the win against Alabama because you know what? They're on this overrated list too. But yeah, I'm not expecting good things from Oklahoma this season. I think that Brent Venables is in over his head. Uh, the program was in a great place. I mean, you had Bob Stoops, then Lincoln Riley, and now the SIP. I mean, the ship is slowly sinking with Brent Venables driving it. All right, next overrated team, Texas A&M. I just I've never understood the hype. We've seen this before. We saw this before with Jimbo Fisher and their highly touted recruiting classes. But what happened with that? It was like an overinflated stock being propped up to something that it's not, and then just poof, it's gone. And the same thing with Coach Elko. I mean, Elko did great at Duke, but first year Texas A&M, I guess they did okay. Uh, they had a chance to go to the SEC championship, and they just blew it against Texas. But Texas was a good team last season, but still, I'm not sold in this program. I don't care about their NIL. I don't care about their top recruiting classes. That does not always translate into championships. And to me, they're still trying to buy a championship. All right, moving on. Coming in next is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yes, I said it. The Alabama fans and the Alabama faithful may think that I'm delusional for saying this, but how last season went absolutely, positively, unequivocally says otherwise. Just not impressed at all. Uh, Look how the season started with their win against Georgia. I'll give them that. But as the season went on, you just slowly but surely saw the deficiencies, and they lost to Vanderbilt. When's the last time that happened? Vanderbilt put up a 40-50 burger on them, and just you know, I don't even know why they hired Kalen DeBoer in the first place. He is an offensive minded guy. If you look at what Nick Saban did for that program, he made sure there's this balance. He understood that if I have a top 10, top 5 defense and at least a top 20 offense, I was in great position to win a national championship every year. And that's exactly what happened. They were always up there in great position. Look at the draft classes they've had. Look at the defensive players who've been drafted, top picks. I mean, just crazy. And then you have Brent Venables. I mean, Brent Venables. Oh my gosh, I'm still on that Oklahoma thing. And then you have Kalen DeBoer. First year driving the ship and just completely. I mean, How it ended, they lost to arguably the worst Michigan team since the Brady Hoke Rich Rod years. So that's definitely how it ended. Now, Ty Simpson has just been named the starting quarterback. Now, I'm not sold on him at all. We saw how he did in 2023 when Jalen Miller was benched, wasn't ready, and I still don't think he's ready. I have a feeling that Keelan Russell will end up taking over as a starting quarterback as the season progresses. But in terms of that, it's not that Alabama doesn't have talent. Because if you look at the recruiting classes, they have talent. It's just again, just like Oklahoma, the person who's steering the ship, aka Brent Venables. But now for Alabama, the person who's steering the ship, aka Kalen DeBoer, just not sold. He's another one who I think is in over his head. And you know what? Seeing that he has it, Nick Saban is a tough act to follow. If they don't at least make the playoffs this season, the Alabama faithful is going to get really impatient, and they may just pull the plug. You never know. All right, let's see if there's any other teams. Oh yeah, Indiana, another overrated team. Yeah, they had this, quote unquote magical season. Kurt Signetti, the supposed leader of men, came in, turned the program around. But look who they did it against. Look who they did against. A bunch of nobodies until they played Ohio State. And you saw what happened that they got mollywopped all the way up and down the field. And it was over by the end of the third quarter. And then you really saw what happened when they played Notre Dame as well. They got mollywopped, dog walked, whatever you want to call it. It happened, and it was ugly. Now, kudos to giving to Kurt Signetti giving Indiana fans something to be excited about for the first time in I think since the COVID years with when Tom Allen was the head coach. They had that one good season. Yeah, Kurt Signetti's bringing in these transfers, but other than that, like that, when they go against teams with equal talent or even better, it doesn't end well for them, and it's still not going to end well for them. But how you can also tell that is Signetti is trying to, you know, build this just soft schedule. Their out of conference schedule is against a bunch of nobodies. So again, just not sold on them. Kirk Signetti will, give the Indiana Hoosier fans something to cheer about every year. But when it comes down to winning the big games, I just don't think that's going to happen. But other than that, those are my overrated teams in the top 25. Uh, and you disagree, please feel free to go in the comment section. And as always, click like, subscribe, help my co-host and I get to 500 subs. Until then, go Bucks.